In late 2006, a plan for a development called Mission Square was proposed for this 1.13-acre vacant lot at 165 East Spain Street in the city of Sonoma. It called for 23 apartment units and almost 6,000 square feet of commercial building. In response to public comments, one set of mitigations was created in July 2007, dealing with noise during construction, storm water runoff, and so forth. Now, in early 2010, a new scaled-back plan is being circulated in the community to get public buy-in before the amended EIR for this new plan comes before the Sonoma Planning Commission. We don't have a date for that. Let's meet the neighbors. On the project's lot is the Pinelli Bungalow, which will be restored and made into rental lodging. It was built in the 1920s by Agostino Pinelli for his son. Next to that is 175 East Spain Street, built in 1942. This property has a small vineyard associated with it. Next to that is 405 2nd Street East, built in 1958. Across the street is the Ray Adler Adobe, built between 1846 and 1851. It has a great many stories about its past. This house was built in the 1890s and purchased in 1919 by Harry Kostanas. His family continued to raise Clydesdale horses, which are well loved by residents and visitors to Sonoma. The Kostanas Pasture is the site of a small dam associated with the mission, and this pasture is apparently the headwaters of Friar Creek. Next to the pasture are now the Solomon Shotgun houses built in 1886 and 1890, which are on the site of the large mission, which was 30 yards wide, 50 yards long, and 2 stories tall. Next to the Shotgun houses is what we call the mission. In the middle here is the convento or priest's living quarters, and on the end is Vallejo's Parish Church, constructed in 1840. Across 1st Street East is the Barracks, constructed by Vallejo for his troops in 1835. The Barracks, too, has a long and interesting history. On this corner is what used to be called the Creamery and was a business that served ice cream and sodas. It was built in 1910. More recently, it's been a restaurant. Previously, this building was part of the Sonoma Mission Creamery, where farmers brought their milk to be made into butter and cheese. Currently, it's occupied by La Casa Restaurant. Next to La Casa is the Blue Wing Inn, a building owned by State Parks, and looking at it as it did at its completion in 1852. It was a thriving saloon and inn during the 3.5 years Sonoma was impacted by the gold rush. The Penne House is a square, 1-story stone structure built before 1906. During the massive 1911 fire on 1st Street East along the plaza, wine owned by Agostino Pinelli and stored in the basement of this building was used to wet the wood shake roof of the Blue Wing Inn to keep it from burning down. Locals used to point to the red wine stains on the wood siding on the eastern end of the Blue Wing. And here we are back to the Pinelli Bungalow, built in the 1920s. What would you like to see in this vacant lot between the Penne Stone House and the Pinelli Bungalow?